Yes, and if any of you would like to take the podium and say anything, now's the time to do it. Hold your peace. Okay, so if you want to do your audit first this morning?
Yes, sir.
So we have our auditor.
We have Teresa. If you all recall, she's been here prior with Bixler and Company, but she's now with Peña Briones, McDaniel and Company. It's the auditing firm Mike has highly suggested we go with. He did his due diligence and you know, going through several CPAs. There were some firms that were not accepting new clients at this time, and we just felt that Peña and Briones is a great fit for us. Teresa knows us very well, and we also have another employee that has also worked with us as well.
So you just wanted to introduce her, did you?
Yes.
Hi, Teresa. Go ahead if you want to say
Hello,
it.
I'm Teresa, and I hope you all remember me. I was at Bixler for years. I've been at Peña Briones for almost 4 years now, and we took over almost all of my audits. And I'm excited to be able to work with y'all again, and that's all I have to say.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Under 5E, we have the engagement letter that I believe Mary wanted to recommend that.
You guys kind of keep me up. I didn't have a chance to look at this. I got in about midnight last night, so keep me in order today. So what we need is a motion to approve
Yes.
the engagement letter. Is everybody seen the letter?
Under 5E? Yes, sir, under 5E.
Everybody's in agreement with it? If so, I'd entertain a motion to approve it as presented.
Move to approve as recommended by the administration.
Aye. Second. Second, Larry. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay. Well, I think you got what you came for, right?
Thank you so much.
Good.
I just can have you sign the engagement letter, Mr. Stowe.
Okay. And I even got Sharon's blue pen.
You got a blue one, huh?
We are willing to keep a price similar to what Bixler and Company has charged us.
That's good. Okay, there's been some corrections to the minutes that were in your packet, and I think you can hand it out one. Next item of business is the minutes for June 8th and July 27th. Are there any additions? This is for the July 27th one, is the corrected one. Are there any additions, questions, corrections? Now I'd entertain a motion to approve them as presented.
So move.
I'll make the motion. Second. Larry seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Okay, Lisa, you have no recommendations this morning?
Not today.
Keeping on the guy behind you there?
Always.
Oh, okay. All right, Mary, you're on.
Is Maria?
We do have,
Is Maria?
No, both of our other
Oh, they're in
attorneys
there?
are in.
Okay.
Oh, they may not be on.
Okay, gotcha.
we do have both the month of June and July reports. We can go through the $500 check report for June and the credit card report if you like. The other reports are just a combination of accumulated amounts. And we can review the July reports.
Okay, under July, not the first ATAB, but the second ATAB, I'm not sure why. The second ATAB, just a typo there. You show a maturity date on your schedule of investments is of January 31st. At the top, it says the 1, 2, 3, 4th. The fourth CD, or it's Treasury actually. actually, maturity date, 6/10/22, it should be 6/10/23.
23, yes.
Okay, and the same thing on investing. It's a, I think you showed it as a,
Yes, they're reversed.
yeah, okay, that's
I'll make that correction.
one little thing right there.
Any other questions or comments?
On the $500 check report for June.
Right. I can get it.
On line item 33, it is a reimbursable expense. It's just not marked.
33.
On 21, what price, well, you have to do some math there, huh? What are we paying per gallon for Roundup? Yeah.
I can get to the-
$66.
What?
66.
66.
It almost doubled.
Yeah, no, that is
Yeah,
double.
well, I know that.
That is double, 33, yeah. And the very last time, 101, it says Desert Haven Trailer, but it's reimbursable, so we got a double trailer reimbursed.
That was a grant through the Rio Grande Council of Governments that Lisa and Omar worked on.
Okay.
Remember last year we got a roll-off
Yeah.
container. This year we went for a dump trailer.
That's good.
We have one and we needed another one for the Upper Valley, so
Okay.
we were successful in getting that.
And somebody, on 97, it says FSA, is that the farm FSA, or what is that? PASC FSA?
It's one of our reimbursable, it's
Who is
called
it?
the.
Flexible spending account.
Flexible what?
Spending account. It's
PASC.
for medical.
PASC is Texas.
Oh, the tax,
Test, yes.
Yes.
What does that stand for?
it's Texas. God,
Okay.
yes, it's part of our health, it's part of our health,
From SSC?
And this says,
I went blank.
Texas, hey, TA is always Texas Association, so.
okay, so it's a certain, and we're,
I
so
would
those are dues we pay or something like that?
It's part of our medical, what it is, it's a reimbursable, for the employees, what they do, it's almost like a savings account, medical savings account. So what happens is that they're able to, we advance the money into this credit card, and it's not anything the district pays, because we get reimbursed through their payroll.
Wow.
So they put so much, and it's an insurance, and they're able to, their co-pays, eyeglasses, contacts,
Okay.
any medical expense, they're able to use this card for, sir.
Prescriptions.
Wait a minute, you said one thing there, it says reimbursement, just part of our,
Well, reimbursable to the
Cost.
district, because we're taking it out of their pay.
oh. Okay, out of the employees pay.
Yes. So if, say, like, for
Okay.
instance, myself, I put in $1,000
Okay,
for the whole year, and $38.46 is taken out every pay period,
Okay.
because Mary, in turn, pays tax,
okay.
and then it's a reimbursable because we get the money back.
And it's pre-tax.
It's pre-tax. And I've gone blank on the two.
No, that-
And what it means is Total Administrative Service Corporation.
There we go.
Just Google it.
Okay,
But I,
okay,
sorry about that.
thanks, I just curious. Deal.
Hey,
I'm done.
don't look at item C, okay? Anything else for the $500 check reports, guys?
Can we go to July? No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to.
No? No, I didn't see anything.
And then we have our monthly investment for July. We do have a CD that matures next week. The rates at the Treasury Security Services for 6 months is 3.18 as of yesterday, 12 months 3.22, and 18 months 3.28. We do have 2 CDs with Westar and 2 securities with SLG. We do, it is best to have multiples than have your investments in one basket. It's not a good investment. So with this, we'll probably go out for bid again and most likely stay with the certificate of deposit.
So the rates have gone up.
The rates have gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, for T-bills, there's, the law allows you to have all your investments in them if you want, because it's assumed that the whole country will go under it. The Treasury bills go under.
Yeah.
So, well, bigger problems for me.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, because the
So, yeah,
difference could be huge.
Yeah, if you want to put all, it's different than CDs and other institutions, because since it's the United States government.
And especially if they let us have a 6 month too.
Right.
Because you
Yeah.
see the difference on the CD rate.
So that's why you had to go through all that long process to get access to them, to make sure that it's secure.
In Georgia, $0.0.
No, it was $9. $9. And you're
I don't know, I think the only other ones is that's why it's Texas Fund, and I haven't looked at Texas Fund. Have you looked at Texas Fund to see what it's in?
And the Texas Fund,
It's a state.
Yeah, no, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I think what Mary's saying is for interest rates protection, it's good business to kind of look around and not put everything in one deal. And by law, you can do what
Yeah,
you're
you can
saying,
do.
Treasury bill.
But it's a treasury.
Well, I think that they like is what she's saying is in case there's a problem with that bank,
Yeah.
to have it
Yeah.
in different banks. But in this case, we don't anticipate lack of performance on the United States Treasury.
Mary, on that same
People
quarterly.
read this, but-
I don't think we do, that's a different problem.
Yeah.
New investments during the quarter, and it shows on 6/30/22. And it shows a 1390 with parentheses, so it was a negative.
there, in order to reinvest with our treasury bill, we had to close out the certificate
A
of
little
deposit a little earlier. Yes.
Okay, so that's where that is. Anticipated interest, we did.
But we will
did
gain
not get.
significantly
Sure.
with the investment. in
Yeah, we
treasury
discussed that
bill.
last meeting.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what that was. All right.
Also, our general fund accounts, those interest rates have increased as well. For the month of July, increased to 0.30%. And for the month of, as of August 1st, it's increased to 0.55%.
Any other questions?
Have we already approved that quarterly report?
I think that's the next thing on the item, that's what I was working to get to. Okay. Next item is item D. Like I say, we don't want anybody looking at numbers in item C, right? Legal and consulting fee budget. Anyway, nobody has any questions, no, you please. Let's go on to item D, the quarterly investment report. It's part of your package, I think. And, we need to approve that. We need a motion to approve that.
I make a motion we approve the quarterly investment report as of July. It says,
June 30th.
yeah, there's another little typo there, Mary, at the top. Current value is of 331, it should be 631, right?
No, so
No?
that's the beginning balance
Oh,
from the last
gotcha,
quarter
thank
of
you.
March 31st.
Second quarter, all right.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion to approve the quarterly investment report ending in June 30th. Larry seconds, all in favor say aye. All opposed
morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, first, no tax adjustments for June and July. And our next item, excuse me. A lot of files today. We have, the City of El Paso, on behalf of our Public Service Board, we also have over on the Water District assignments, and a report on taxes. This is for information purposes. For PSB Miller Valley, you'll notice there was no leases for the month of July. I can tell you that for the month of August, Miller Valley will be submitting about 200 leases. And I wanted to give you some more information on tax suits. And the reason is, and I'll disclose it later, because Mr. Stubbs had asked me a couple months ago, what can we do with accounts that have tax suits? So
I can barely hear you, Rose, I'm sorry.
a couple months ago, you had asked what we can do with the tax suits by eliminating some of those tax. Okay. So this is part one, and I'm going to cover a little bit more in the next item. So we have 270 leases, tax suits. And I want to break it down for you. We have the life of the tax suit. So if it's 2017, we still have it on the books, so everything is paid. I'm talking about the water right taxes, city taxes, court fees, anything else that is involved with the tax suit. So there's 270 accounts that have tax suits. 161 have not paid our taxes, the irrigation taxes. Now the 109 that our taxes are paid, but not the court fees or the city taxes. But we have to keep it on record, because we have a contract with the law firm, Library Bogey and Blair and Sampson, which the city has the same law firm to collect those legal taxes. So it's the life of the suit. So when you see those numbers, why they're so great is because they're still on the books, because they haven't paid all their fees. Does that clear it up a bit?
What I was wanting to do is get all that off our records, and if there wasn't some way to lease those things to the city or the Lower Valley.
Wait, I'm gonna cover it.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Because, I mean, you're not ever gonna get rid of them,
Yes.
those tax suits last forever, and if you're lucky to get anything out
Yes.
of them, you might get a penny on it.
And I have some good news for you.
31 cents.
So that's for information purposes, and then our next report is our comparison.
Hold on,
Yes, sir.
Rose, just one question. The month before, you showed 220 total suits, and then all of a sudden it's 270.
I have really been concentrating on those accounts.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I
the
don't know why
270 figure is correct as of,
Yes, last, 196.
oh,
So there's always, there's some that are not sued because they need to release, closed. The numbers go down, but
okay.
within 2 or 3 months, I really have emphasized and going after those accounts that we have tried to collect to make property owners making payments, haven't come through. I've really gone after those accounts.
Okay,
So you'll see some of those coming through.
okay, yeah. All right. Thank you.
On our comparison, in 2020, we were at 96.793% number of outputs. Right now, we're at 97.2237, so we're a little bit ahead. Any questions on that report?
Yeah. They wanted to
Get their
remember that extra here.
Our next one is the limitation of taxes, which Mr. Stubbs. You have asked me to look into those accounts that have taxes. So, under our list, identify those properties within the city of El Paso and those that are in Socorro and 77, which would be for Lower Valley Water District. And remember, this has taxes. So we supply the list to both entities, PSB and Lower Valley. Public Service Board, we turned over 29 property owners, and it adds up to 10.96 acres. Money, it was $12,000, $12,245. PSB is working on I can
That,
take-
that's perfect, because, I mean, those deals will be there forever, and, I mean,
Yes.
they have been there forever and be
Yes.
there forever, and now we turn them into something real, so.
Yeah, so PSP has
Good job,
been taking contact with them.
that's good, perfect.
For Lower Valley Water District, we have 43 property owners, that's 20.61 acres, and that equals $23,201. The problem here with Lower Valley is Lower Valley's not paying those delinquent taxes. But they got the list, and I understand they're working on that also.
Little by little, maybe we can get rid of it, because otherwise it's just record keeping from now on, it just gets bigger, not ever gets smaller. Right.
So this comes to the limitation of taxes. Again, we were looking at taxes. Back in 1987, and this is under the property tax code, we did contact Sylvia Ford, and she gave us an opinion, because there's always conflict between the water law and the tax law. So water law says taxes have to remain on the book, they're permanent. Well, the property tax code says we could. So I got an opinion from Sylvia Ford, and she says that yes, we could apply the property code, remove anything over 20 years. We didn't do it.
We didn't do it.
We didn't do it, so, sorry.
You did?
It was in when, 80, when?
That was in 87. Now, back in 2017, I tried again, bring it up again. This one was Maria Bryant. And she also said water code versus tax code. Tax code supersedes, we can go ahead and do it. We didn't have it. So I got two opinions. So I got my third opinion. From Jose Padilla.
Their fault.
Man, you're on a roll.
Yes.
What we do wrong?
This is from Jose Padilla from law firm from Library, Gogan, Lynn, and Sampson. Third opinion, yes, we can take it off the books.
Okay.
So the property tax code is after the water code. And they have attorneys review it, they went back and forth, argued it, and yes, we can remove it. So what I'm asking from the board is that if you're okay with it, we need to set a policy, but we only have 20 years on the books. Anything year 21 and
I think we're all favor
can
of doing
remove
that,
it.
but if we can turn them into money like with this other,
That'd
thing,
be good.
that'd even be
I thought we'd
better.
already done this though, didn't we?
We have, but.
We never voted it in, or?
Well, we had, because, and I'll just, I'll
Spear.
stop to it, Mr. Spear,
Okay,
sorry.
put a stop.
Because of the water law and property
All right.
tax, because there was always conflict. But I have 3 opinions from attorneys,
Okay.
and the one from Maria O'Brien is just, it supersedes. So I'm coming to you that we can remove this.
Not
And we're
necessarily
talking about-
supersedes, but it's more recent.
Yeah, it doesn't, I recommend what Johnny was referring to, just so that you set a dollar limit on those. Let's say the amount of tax is pretty small, because you're right, if we assign the water and get the city to pay or the Water Valley to pay, it's a lost revenue if we write it off.
Right, yeah.
But if it's $5 and it's 22 years old, or whatever I don't know what the breakdown is on the.
Well, most of them are really small,
Let me give you an
probably.
example, for 1988, we're looking at $50.
Yeah,
But we're looking at 1988 to 2001. Right now, we're looking at $10,000 that is considered not collectible or say non-paid.
You'd say it older than the 20 years.
That's
It's
over 20 years.
non-collectible from them, but
Yes.
it can be turned into money under this other deal, and then they can get the water, right?
And remember, these properties have tax suits, and we have tried to collect, the law firm has tried to collect. And the property owners have been abandoned, property owners have been.
The problem with that is getting the property owners to sign. Can we do that
Well,
without
in
the
this
property
case-
owner signing it?
yeah.
And under the 20-year limitation, because we can't contact the property owners, we've made every attempt that we could. What has happened here is that under the limitation of taxes, we can remove it.
So
So
what-
it's
what-
considered,
yeah.
I think what you say, it's optional to the board, so what you need to do is bring a list that you have determined is in excess of the 20 years and is unrecoverable, and is a certain dollar amount. It's like the $50 you said. I think the board can each time consider that.
Yeah, I mean, we spend more money you accounting for it every month
Right.
than we
Yes.
could ever get
Right.
collected. We've done that for years, and we've always been told we can't do it, so let's try to turn as many of them as we can into money, and the rest of them, let's figure out, you know, if they're small and uncollectible, and why are we keeping record?
Right, and she can bring a list to each
Yeah.
month or each year, or whatever
Yeah.
frequency you wanna do it, and then you guys can look at them and say, hey, $50 is small.
And you suggest which
$500
ones,
no.
and
Well, I have a list already, and we're looking at 127 years. But like I have a property owner that owns multiple years, so it's one property owner, multiple years. But I'm looking at 127 years. Okay, so example, let's say Mr. Matthew, he is under the 20-year scope or area.
he hadn't quite reached 20 years.
He is over 20 years.
It's over 20,
Mhm. Yes. So in this case, we can remove him. But we tried to contact him any way that we could, file suit,
okay.
and nothing's happening. These are all properties that have tax rates. And I did talk to the law firm, so there is under the law that if there's a suit, you cannot remove it unless you go to the court and say, we're gonna amend the suit to remove anything over the 20 years.
Yeah, well, we'll get our attorney to do that.
Mhm.
So you have some ready to vote on today?
Well, I'm just giving you information,
Okay.
and then what we need to do is write up a policy. And,
You need a policy, okay.
yes, so we can do
But
that.
it's not
My
covered in what
recommendation
we
would
already-
be Maria O'Brien.
Well, why don't we work on
Yeah.
doing that?
I mean, roads may want policy, and I'm not opposed to that, I'm just saying, that I think if you bring it to them on case-by-case basis, like we do on the other,
Okay.
when you have to do things, then they can just consider what's in front of them at that time, and then you won't need a policy.
I don't see why not, because the policy, we can always, the board makes the policies, the boards can change the policy, so I mean, and we can, you know, if there's something we want to do a little different, we have the.
My thought was
So the question is, do you want the board to vote, like we do on the other, which I think is. in
Well,
your
this is just for
benefit.
information,
Yeah.
that, next
No,
time
I'm
I'm
not
coming back
talking-
with a
I'm not
policy.
talking about
In
that.
this case where money's involved, I think the both.
Yeah, so just, you won't need a policy, then she'll bring it as an action item each time, and you'll vote on it.
That's what that was my point is,
Yeah.
I mean, we make them anyway, so
Mhm.
the board has the ability to
Okay.
take action without having to.
Okay, so I've identified those properties already, so when we assess a new year, they'll be automatically, we remove 1 year based on your approval.
Well, yeah, that, exactly, but I think since money's involved, it would be good
Yes,
to
of
have
course.
the board react.
Yeah, we'll have a resolution, and then I'll work with you on the resolution.
Okay.
Yeah, so you bring that, you know, put it on the agenda and bring it
Okay.
and give us a list beforehand, but those things are just as sore point. I mean, you know, they're not ever gonna change, you know, all you do is just
And
record,
we've
record,
tried,
record, and
we've
spend
tried
it.
to,
I mean, you know, if you got them all in, it wouldn't pay for the paper that you used to record them, so.
yes.
Well, that's
Like I
good.
said, back in 87, we tried and it didn't work out.
It'll lighten y'all's load too, you don't have to worry.
Yes,
about
it will.
Yeah,
It will.
okay, good.
Okay.
Very, very good. Thank you,
That's
Rose.
it
I
for me?
appreciate it. As always,
Thank you.
very good job.
Okay, well,
And
thank
some of
you.
you do great work.
And just let me know what else we can do. We'll work on it.
Okay, thank you. All right, General Manager.
Okay. Under item A, we were awarded $1 million grant by the Bureau of Reclamation. And we can check the second page on item A. We were the only entity in the state of Texas to be awarded funding under this new.
Yeah, you do great work, good this stuff.
So we're going to do phase 4 of the Riverside Canal. We're going to be concrete lining from Wasteway 2 to where it connects with the island main.
That's great.
And it's a real troubled area that's silted over and really needs a lot of help. So we've got the funding set up for that and ready to go.
To go over to the island main, right there,
Yeah, where it connects.
the head.
Uh-huh.
That's great.
So then, on item B, we've been working with the El Paso Electric Company on the possibilities. There's a grant that will come available in 2023 where we could apply to purchase electric trucks. And we we've been looking at that. So we've been talking to the electric company of the possibilities of connecting charging stations. We've been talking to them about maybe in the front here connecting, having some charging stations, and in the back also for our ditch rider trucks. And in doing that, the conversation came up about they were looking for sites for solar farms, solar panel farms. So Omar brought up the conversation about the Riverside regulating facility. You know, we have 300 and some acres there of where they're interested in looking at it. In fact, we have a tour set up for this Friday where they're wanting to look at the possibilities of maybe leasing 100 acres from us, where they could go in there and install a solar panel farm, and they would maintain it. And then we would be able to connect once we get the regulating facility going.
You're talking about the score ponds.
The score ponds, yes, yes.
So what area do we have there that's not part of the pond?
Right.
About 300 acres.
Yeah, the right as
I
you,
mean, sorry, 30 acres.
yeah, right as you cross to your left side, we've got wide open space that
But they want 100.
we've got more than 100 there.
But I was gonna make that into, so the design of the reservoir is 300. Oh, it's 380 is what we bought, right?
Right.
Yeah, so there's about 80 acres.
Mhm.
But,
No, the ponds won't take 300 acres.
yeah, well, we were gonna that's what the design was.
Mhm.
I mean, it was to maximize it. I mean, we can make the ponds as small as you want, but we wanted to make them as big as we could. But anyways, it's your guys' decision.
We in Cornell want them as big as we can.
Yeah, there's a lot of, we've been getting a lot of calls, a lot of interest from farmers,
No, the
asking
ponds,
questions
not the
about
solar.
the ponds.
I mean, there's definitely area, too, he's right, there's definitely area that we can't make as part of the ponds.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm at this, I don't think we have 100 acres just lying around that we do.
I think there's close to 100 acres there available, but we'll show them. We're going to take them out there and have a tour with them this Friday and show them the area and see what, if they become interested.
What about the land up at the other end that we were
Well,
gonna?
that's the Rios yard, the Riverside yard.
It's-
That's not that big.
Yeah, that's 16 acres
That's all.
that we have, yes.
And what benefit do we get to? Are they gonna?
Well, the big benefit would be funding in the future. If we go with, looks like everything's going
Electric.
electric, solar power and so on, we would be qualified for funding for not only the Socorro bonds, but
I mean, what sort of lease are we talking about? I mean, you're gonna get money from leasing it too.
yes, we would definitely, that's all negotiable, but we would definitely enter into some type of lease.
Yeah, I
with them.
think you probably want to look at it as a joint project, in other words, you may end up with sharing in the amount of energy.
Electric, yeah.
That's what I was headed to.
So that way it'll
If we do
qualify for
that,
the grants.
that would.
It'd be more, rather than just a simple lease, it would be a joint project.
Because
Trains that we're
I'm saying,
currently up, maybe we could.
If it's tied to the revenue that they get, because it ain't gonna do anything but go up, I can
Yeah.
tell you for sure. I mean, it could be a big, good deal for
For
the
us.
district.
Yeah. Yes. So anyway, we'll have a tour
We're
on
gonna investigate, sure.
this Friday, talk to them. The head lady is coming down to, for the tour and some of her assistants. And so we're gonna take them out there, look, show them, and then talk to them a little bit more about.
That's a big company now, who, somebody bought out El Paso Electric.
Yeah, I forgot, what was well, we looked up the name change.
It was still the same name.
Well, that Texas corporation say the same, but the parent corporation changed, right? I forgot the name.
It's a big power deal,
Yeah.
I mean, big company.
You know, and them electric trucks, are we gonna get any like federal assistance for doing it?
There's a grant that's coming up. It's about, we qualify for about $1.5 million, where we could buy about 15 trucks for, to be utilized for our ditch riders and stuff.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's really amazing, this grant deal has really proliferated into something really good, and I mean, it didn't even exist before, and every time there was a grant for everything, which means not alone, we always were very shy of me by taking out loans and then having, pay for it with taxpayers' money. These deal, I was just telling Art, you guys doing such a great job on grants, we can quit having taxes.
They're matching grants. There's the matching.
The pressure's on, Omar.
Yeah, you gotta get 101% grants, they need to give us more money than they take, so.
That was the facetious rant.
But anyway, we'll take that tour with the electric company and then report back to you all, see what they're thinking and.
And now if we could have floating solar.
You know what I was thinking, is there not somewhere that
But
they
yeah,
could
the problem
over
is,
the top of
the
those
problem is
things?
windstorms, but yeah, they do make them.
Yeah, I didn't know, I mean, I thought, well, maybe that whole area could be covered.
They're experimenting with those, but our biggest problem is our gusts up to 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, Robert was telling me about one that he saw in South Texas where it's built up above and they have actual buildings underneath.
Well, that's what I was talking about, over the top of the lights, I mean,
Yeah, you get, and then the expense.
everything's possible.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's third parties,
In California, they're running a lot of them.
Yeah,
They're
we do
down
it
there in Hudspeth, they nibbling on me, I had a company
They wanted to,
tie up my sand hill,
yeah.
100 years.
Anything that's near a power line.
Omar, you want to?
Just one last comment to add. El Paso Electric's biggest incentive in investing in these solar arrays is that they are looking to become a provider to ERCOT. The entire western grid is. El Paso Electric's at the near end and a clear connection to ERCOT. And so it's them attempting to mobilize and build a stronger infrastructure in this area so that if these winter storms happen. Yeah.
Gangbusters, my gosh, you just drive down that freeway and all the big warehouses and stuff, I mean, there's building cranes everywhere up there, my gosh, they're gonna really have to get that border crossing fixed. I don't know if they're gonna be able to do it. But, no, that's great, so, and then let's deal with the electric truck, I mean, that's where we're going, electric motors and.
Right.
And, so it'll cut a heck of a lot of cost for us. And
Yeah.
since we don't have to go very far, I mean, it's workable.
Yeah, it's almost perfect.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
not- I don't think I wanna take off to my ranch in Alpine and have to plug it into something, but for here, that's a real plus, and those things are amazing.
Well, we had a visit by the people from GM out of Houston, because they saw our interest in going electric. So they came to talk to us about the possibility of.
Companies going that way, yeah.
And of course, Ford already has their truck out, and GM is working
Wasn't
hard to catch up.
The stations Chewy's talking about putting in under that other grant, they're 30-minute charge, full charge, they're high capacity stations.
Right.
I don't know, maybe.
45 minutes.
45 minutes?
45 minutes full charge.
I mean, here, you come in and you leave it, do it overnight or whatever, there's plenty of time to do it, so.
Well, even for the guys that, don't have time, with those stations, they can come in and do their report, takes 45 minutes.
It takes you that long to get
Yeah.
a hamburger
That's-
whenever.
If we're successful in getting that grant, we would be able to buy about 15 trucks, where we could rotate them. Each shift would pick up a fresh truck and leave the one that they got off
Yeah, sure.
charging.
So I say that the way we are located and the way our deal works, I mean, it's a perfect fit. I mean, sure.
And then the charge, where did he fling in, how many miles can you get off the charge?
You can go 400 miles.
400 miles?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
That's the hard place and back.
Yeah.
That's the ranch bed.
Takes that long for the water to get. 400 miles.
Robert says that on an average, your ditch riders go what, Robert, 100 miles a shift?
8 hours,
80 miles?
about 80 to 100 to 8 hours shift.
Yeah.
And every shift, so the times 3 is 240.
Mhm.
No, it's the
That's why those
future.
trucks
you know.
wear out.
Going back to the electric company on the land, is there any, on all these drainage ditches that are considered surplus or not used anymore, would that be additional acreage that could be entertained for the electric company to look at? Or is it sufficient enough to even is worth surplus land? like on the drainage ditches and
Yeah,
land
I
that's
think
not.
the problem with the drainage ditches is we always need the banks to
Maintain.
continue maintaining them.
Okay.
That would be the problem.
Because some of this, like the most recent one that was sold off, because sometimes we come across land that we want to sell, and then once we sell it, it's gone forever. Rather than selling it, maybe hold on to it, and then that surplus land can be utilized for such purposes as this in the future. I'm just thinking out loud, I don't know. But maybe that drainage ditch is too narrow, maybe it won't work, but something to consider. I don't know what the
You
needs
know,
would be.
that's a pretty good idea, Miguel, because they're long stretches, don't you think that would?
They're not being utilized, and then they can take the liability, instead of us, if they occupy it, they can take the liability for the areas that not.
See what we make off it.
Yeah,
That's about
it's just something to think about while you're talking to them.
Okay.
But I don't know the area, so I don't know what areas make sense, but you have to be 30,000 feet up in the air to look and see, these are all patches that could.
We don't have too much on the drainage ditch anymore, most of, because all the upper valley in the city, and it's all leased, we did those lease programs, so we can't, that's the cities, and so there's none of those available.
It's the same deal, the lease is what we're looking for.
And it would be, I don't know, the little pieces that we've been selling off have been sort of dead end, isolated pieces.
Yeah, I can't think of any that we
They're
would,
big enough.
yeah.
And, you know, they're definitely looking, if you look at most of the solar farms, like the one out towards Alpine, or the one that's up towards Fort Stockton, and the one that's up on the Mesa, it's, they're big and rectangular.
It's huge.
They want them all in one area where they can maintain them, so long as anyone's made, but we could do a lot of parking underneath them. Linear parking, right?
Shady parking for our electric
Yeah,
cars.
Don't be surprised.
for the community.
There you go.
Put a plug on every one of the panels and park your truck up there.
There you go.
And then, just, Omar worked on a report, that, there were some questions about how many,
Oh, I saw.
canals and laterals do we have concrete lines, so if, the best one to look at is this one here. The blue shows you what's already been concrete lined. The green shows you what we need to concrete line, what's earthen, and the red is piped. So,
The red is what?
pipe canals or laterals. So, we thought we'd give you a breakdown, but Omar did a good job of putting all this together. It's
Graphically, it's
what's earthen, what's been concrete lined, what we're working on for the future. And he also put together some maps. I know it's kind of hard to see them from here, but if you all, after the board meeting, want to look at the maps, it shows you exactly what we're working on, what canals are targeted, and
I just want to ask Omar one question, when's it gonna be all blue?
It's a lot of concrete.
It depends on
A lot of
the
grass.
heat back there.
that's Pete right there.
I think we want to open our own batch plant at that point, right?
The one thing about it, they got plenty of time to work since we don't have any water.
Yeah, we got more, it takes,
All you guys have done great. I mean, you know, since I've been on the board and driving out in Arizona and California and seeing their irrigation systems and their huge canal cement line, I've always had the dream that ours could look like that someday, and we're getting there.
We're getting there.
Yeah, little by little, we're getting,
Yeah, really, y'all done a great job, great job.
and I also want to recognize Woody that's here from the Bureau of Reclamation. He works with Omar real close, and Woody's the Bureau of Reclamation's representative here, in charge of the grant funding and so on. So Omar works with him very closely as keeping up with reports and going out there doing actual field inspections and so on while the work is being done.
I appreciate your effort.
I just want to state it's been a pleasure working with EPCWID1 on this canal line. It's been really, really a pleasure for me.
It's a pleasure for us, for you to do it
Thank
too.
you, yeah.
I appreciate it. So, it's what a win-win situation. What is that the way you describe it?
Yeah, it is a win-win situation.
So that's all I've got, unless there's any questions.
Okay, District Engineer. You know, there's one other something that I like to do, and I'm remiss not doing it the first. Just call attention to the fact that our esteemed attorney for years and years has did so much for our district, it's impossible to describe all the things that he did over the years for us. He passed away recently. And I thought it'd be nice to have a moment of silence in the record for Jim Spear, because Jim, a great advocate for this district. Most of these things that you're seeing get done is because of Jim's guidance and stubbornness, I guess, to put it in a lot of ways to get us to this point. I greatly appreciate it, and I think the rest of us do that have been here long enough to know all the things that he did. And I think it's in order that at this point in time, we all take just a moment of silence to remember Jim Spear. Okay, I don't know any of they had a funeral service for him, or it was a neat kind of